Hi guys and welcome back. Thanks for joining me on my blog, Crafting Through the Chaos of Life. Today we are making this perfectly pink Mother's Day card. To get started, I'm going to be using some of these products here. I've got the Memory Box Large Circle Burst die. I really love this. I love all the little circles that come with it, the images. Then I have this pretty poppy die cut from Lawn Fawn that I've used before. This large stitch rectangle die from Poppy Stamps, and the Sizzix butterfly embossing set. I'm just using the die cuts here today. Alright, so what I like to do is do my die cutting first. So I have gone ahead and done that off screen, and now what I want to do is use these distress inks to add a little bit of dimension to these die cuts. I find that it really makes a big difference when you have just kind of solid images like this. So I'm using my Picket Fence blending brush just to add some of that color to the edges of these die cuts. Again, you can use as little or as much ink as you want in this process, and you can layer different colors as well, but today I'm mostly just using one color per image, except for one of those orange little flowers there. I will be using a second orange color. I'm going to link everything down below, and it'll be over at the Scrap and Stamp blog, so make sure that you head on over there to check that out. As well, if you haven't checked out the May blog hop, you have until May 13th to add your comments to our blog hop post and your chance to win a $50 gift certificate. Alright, so I've got all the images die cut, and that really makes a big difference in that ink blending, if you can see on the flower there. And now what I'm going to do is I've laid out how I want all my images to be on my card, and now it is time to adhere them all together. I really like using the Gina K Connect glue for a couple reasons. One is that it is a liquid adhesive and it gives me some time to wiggle these images into the perfect place before it dries. As well, when it does dry, it is a very strong adhesive. So when I'm doing layered images like this or adding embellishments to a card, and I know I'm going to be mailing it, I know for sure that if I use this adhesive, it is going to adhere and not come apart in the mail, especially with our Canada Post. Sometimes the mail is roughed up a little bit along the way. So with this poppy die cut image, I'm just kind of curling some of the little petals up just so that it gives it a little bit more realistic look. And again, you can see that ink blending on the edges of the petal there. It really adds so much dimension and interest to that die cut itself. Again, it's a fairly simple die cut. It's fairly easy to do, and it adds so much, I think, in my mind. It really makes a big difference on the card. So again, I'm just piecing these images together, and I'll glue them to that Memory Box Circle Burst die cut. That is just from some white onto some white cardstock. I think it's Lawn Fawn, to tell you the truth, and then I have a darker pink cardstock that I also used for the same stitched rectangle image. I wanted to match those up, and I think that one was just from Recollections. Alright, so I'm just using my reverse tweezers to hold those two pieces in place to give it a good pressure to stick, and then once I have all these images glued together, I can then move on to the next process of the card. So as you can see, I have already stamped that mom sentiment onto that circle from the Circle Burst, and it's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. I used the Picked Raspberry Distress ink for that, and now I'm adding some foam tape to the back of this Circle Burst die cut, and I'm going to then pop this up. I think, again, adding a little bit more dimension to this card is really going to increase the interest of it and really appeal to the eye and make it just that much more special when I give it to the recipient. Alright, so I've added the foam to the back of that, and I want to layer another image, or sorry, I want to layer, words are hard today, I'm so sorry. I want to layer this dark pink image onto another square piece of light pink cardstock. Again, it's just giving another bit of interest in adding that pink into the card that I like so much. Just using a tape runner for this. And then what we can do is layer this entire piece onto that 6x6 square card base. Now that I have that layered onto the card base, I can go ahead and lay that Circle Burst panel on top of that dark pink piece just so that it's lined up perfectly and poking through. I can remove the adhesive from the back. I'm using my Tim Holtz craft pick for that. I find that sometimes if my fingernails aren't long enough, it helps me to just kind of pick up that release paper and remove it easier. I can now add some of those yellow enamel dots as well as some Wink of Stella to the center of the flower as well as the butterfly. I love the ink blending that happened on this flower. I think it adds so much dimension to the project, and I really enjoy the way that this card turned out. I will link all the supplies that I've used today over at the Scrap of the Stamp blog, as well as a video that I've used that poppy die cut in before. I thank you guys so much for joining me today for today's card tutorial, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks so much and take care.